What's up guys, Shawnthebro here, and we're back for another episode of the fighting game tutorial series. In today's episode, we are going to be going over our achievement system. At this point in the series, we have a profile, our profile has achievements, and we also have an achievement unlock notification. So when we unlock an achievement, a little widget pops up in the bottom right hand corner here and goes away after a set period of time. The last thing that we need to complete our achievement and trophy portion of our game is the actual back end for the achievement system that determines how to unlock the achievement, not just a text description, but actually how in the game, such as how do we register playing one match in the mode, how do we register reaching the main menu for the first time. We need to know the progress of the achievement. So for example, if we have to play 100 matches, we will want to be able to track that, track how many the player has already played, and additionally save this data out and load this data in. That will make a complete achievement system in our game. And that's what we're going to be setting up for today. We're going to be making sure that we can actually track our achievements, not just as these things in a data table, but actually as unlockables for our game by completing certain challenges or doing certain feats within our game. This is one of my favorites because I absolutely love going for achievements in games. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy it as well. If you want to get caught up in the fighting game tutorial series and check out everything we've done prior to this episode so that you can follow along and get your own fighting game, you can check out the playlist right here in the top right corner where we will go over things like our HUD, our attacks, our input buffer, our rounds, our different game modes, and a whole lot more. Alternatively, if you only care about the achievement system, you don't have to follow along with the whole series to implement this. I do recommend that you watch the other episodes of the achievements in the fighting game tutorial series, as we are building on top of that today. This is the foundation for the actual logic behind the achievements, but we are still going to be using the other pieces that we made for the achievements in the previous episodes. I'll link the first episode of achievements right here in the top right corner. With that out of the way, we're ready to get started. This is a code and blueprint tutorial series. Since we're working on the functional behavior, the backend behavior, we're going to be doing it in the code, in the C++. So if we go to our code, let's go to basegameinstance.cpp and basegameinstance.h. The basegame instance is where I've done my achievement behavior so far in this series. But another good place to do this would be in a subsystem. Specifically, a game instance subsystem would be great for achievements. We're not using any subsystems in here yet, and we already have achievement logic in the game instance, but I just wanted to point that out as it could be useful. If we scroll down in basegameinstance.h, we can go to a structure that we have called fachievement. This structure is what it sounds like. It represents everything that our achievement needs, at least everything that it needs so far. We have the name in here, the description, the icon, and the background. And all of these are great. For every achievement, I could see these things being customized. But we are missing a few things. The things that we're missing are the actual functional part of them. The part where we determine if a player has met the certain condition that they need to meet, if the achievement is unlocked, and anything else we may need to track our achievement's progress. This structure is great. I actually don't want to change this. I do want to add a comment. The structure containing all the data about the achievements. Below this, I want to make a new structure. This one is going to be the structure that stores achievement progress and completion. Let's make this a ustruct, just like the one above it, and we'll make it blueprint type as well. Struct fachievement status, let's call it. I don't want this to be part of a data table because I want this to be used functionally, and the data table is more for read-only values. If we wanted to have some achievements unlocked by default or something like that, we could put them in the data table and then mark them as being unlocked already, but that's not what I'm going for here. So struct fachievement status generated body. Just put this macro in here that we always do for all of our structs and classes. Then below this, we can say public. We'll keep this public for now, but we may want to change it later depending on our use case. Then in here, I want to add a few variables. And my first variable is going to be either the achievement itself. I could put an entire structure in here or an ID of the achievement. If we wanted to just use the ID of an achievement, we would need to put an ID in the fachievement structure. That would be very efficient, but you could also just have an fachievement in here, and we'll call this achievement data. And this will represent the achievement that this achievement status is tracking. For example, if we had that achievement that I mentioned earlier about playing 100 matches, then this F achievement would be representing that achievement. Let's keep it this way for now. So F achievement, achievement data. We can make this U property because we may want to see this in the blueprint. For example, if we were going to have achievement notifications when we got some of the progress done, so say we had to play 100 matches and we played 20, and we wanted to show that to the player, we could do that. We don't need to edit this in the blueprint, so we can make this visible anywhere, blueprint read only, and give it a category equal to achievements. This will contain all the data about that achievement. So the next one under that would be another U property, visible anywhere, blueprint read only, with a category equal to achievements. And we'll make this one the Boolean for if it's unlocked or not. So bool is unlocked. And that's good enough for now. We can supply some of these variables in both of our achievement structures with default values. So uTexture2D pointer icon is going to equal null pointer by default, and same with the uTexture2D background. And the bool is unlocked is going to equal false by default. Now, in our profile that I was showing you earlier, we do look through all the data table rows and fill out achievements that way, but typically when we're doing logic in our code with these achievements, we're going to care about our F achievement status, as we'll likely need to grab if it's unlocked or not, as well as our progress, so how many we've done, what the actual unlock condition is. And for this, we can have an array of all of our F achievement statuses so that we can loop through them and check them as needed. This is particularly useful for saving and loading because we're going to need each achievement and its progress saved. We're also going to need to load it. But the problem with this, to save this out, we need to save out the entire structure and then load in the entire structure. If instead we go to F achievement, and at the top here, we can make this another U property of edit anywhere blueprint read write with a category equal to achievements, and we can add an integer ID. This ID represents the ID of the achievement, and in our data table we can fill this out, but it will probably be sequential from 0 to however many achievements we have minus 1. So if we have 50 achievements, it would be 0 to 49. This will allow us to look at the ID in the F achievement status. So instead of having an F achievement here, we can use int achievement ID. Perfect. And the great part about this is that the achievement should never really change their IDs. They're always going to be loaded in the same order, and they're always going to be representing the same achievement because we're going to be reading them from the data table sequentially. We're going to go row by row, which makes this super easy to maintain. But going back to what I was saying prior to changing this, we need a way to track all of our achievement statuses, and we can do that with an array of F achievement status. Let's scroll down to where we have our news or patch update array. So it's really the same idea. We have this thing called F news entry, and this represents all the news entries, or again, patches, that we want to display to the user. We also have this T-array of match history entry. We can go below this one, add another T-array F achievement status. We'll call this achievement statuses. We can make this a U property of visible anywhere blueprint read only with a category equal to achievements. You can make it edit anywhere blueprint read write if you have a reason to do so. This is all going to be logic driven stuff for these achievement statuses. The array of all achievement statuses. Now we have our container to store this data. If we go into baseGameInstance.cpp, let's scroll down in our baseGame instance to our constructor where we set all the default values for variables. I'm going to set my number of achievement statuses, achievement statuses dot set num 0. We're going to be filling out our achievement statuses from our achievement data table, so we don't need any before that. And this actually goes the same for the match history entries as well. We never did that in that episode, but if we go to match history entries dot set num, set that to 0 as well. Perfect, and now that is exactly what I would expect. Let's go down to our init function or initialize function. In here, we're already doing something that we basically are going to want to do for our achievements, and that is grabbing the unlockable data from the data table. We can do pretty much the same thing here, but just for our achievements. So I'm going to make a comment here. Retrieve the unlockable item data from the data table. And we'll say retrieve the achievement data from the data table. And we can basically just follow this as an example. So we're going to need a U data table pointer, achievement data table, F soft object path, achievement data table path equals, fix that spelling mistake, path, there we go, equals F soft object path. And for the text, we need to supply the path. I can follow this path right here and just change the name of the data table itself, as I know these are in the same location, but you can also go to your data table in the editor. So blueprints, library BPs, here's unlockable item data, here's achievement data. I can right click on this asset and I can copy the file path. Then if I go back to the code and paste it in here, Control V or right click and paste, it will give you the whole file path here. We can start in the game folder. /game brings us to the content directory in our Unreal project. So if we go to the content directory here, type /game /blueprints /library BPs /achievement data and remove the extension, the U asset. That is our achievement data table path. Add a semicolon, then we can say achievement data table equals cast U data table, and we can pass it achievement dt path dot try load. So literally try to load the object at this path, and if we can, set this variable equal to it, or a pointer equal to it. Then after this, we can type if achievement data table, because if it's invalid, we won't be able to access this, and if we try, we'll crash. But if it is valid, we will be able to access it. Then we can make an array of the type that we're going to be using to retrieve that data. So tarray f achievement, not achievement statuses, f achievement pointer. And we'll call this achievement, or achievements data, actually. And then achievement data table is going to get all rows, and you're going to get all the rows of the specific type, which is an F achievement type. If you don't know this, you can go to your data table and go to the details, which is right here, data table details, and it will show you the row structure. It says achievement. F is the prefix in Unreal that we use for our structures, so this is the F achievement structure. So F achievement, and for the text, this is basically the name for the context. So you can call this achievement, and then we'll pass in our array that we made that's going to capture all of that data. So achievements data. Assuming this succeeds, this achievements data is going to have content in it. At this point, we want to set the total number of achievements, and we're doing this to resize our array. Achievement statuses, that's the array we're resizing here, .set num, and we're going to set this to achievements data.num. So whatever rows we pulled from the data table are now going to be used to resize the achievement statuses array. At this point, we're going to transfer the data table data to the container of achievement statuses. Unrelated, but I am going to update this comment as well for the unlockables. Transfer the data table data to the container of unlockable items. In our achievement section here, for int I equals 0, semicolon I is less than achievement statuses dot num plus I. This one is a little different though. Before we were going one-to-one, we were setting unlockable items to the unlockable items from the data table. What we're doing now is we're actually going to set our achievement to the row, not the entire row. So this is going to be achievement statuses at index I. Go back to the base game instance.h and scroll down to our achievement structures. I actually want to remove this ID. We're going to use the same method, but after thinking about it, we can simply use the name of the achievement. The name is always going to be unique. So where we have ftext name, I want to make this ftext achievement name in our fachievement status structure. Then we don't have to worry about assigning IDs, but we'll get the same result. It will also be nice and easy to save this data out and load this data in. We get the same benefits of using this name as we do an ID. Back into base game instance.cpp, we're going to now use .achievement name and set that equal to achievements at index I.name. And if we try and do it like we did the unlockables and put an asterisk in the front, it's not going to work. Because at this point, we're not going to dereference that and grab the structure. We just need to use the data itself, which is a pointer. So we remove the asterisk, change the period out for an arrow, and then we can grab the name for the achievement perfectly. Make that change, and then we will have all the data we need from our achievement data table and our achievement status structure instances here. And that means in the next episode, when we load in the data about the achievements and save out the data about the achievements, we can care about the progress and if it's unlocked or not. At this point, we're ready to launch and just make sure that everything is working. We're not really going to see anything, but we just want to make sure that it doesn't crash or give us errors. A good idea would be to use breakpoints or log out our values to make sure that those achievements got successfully ported into that array. If you want to add a log, and I recommend it, we should go back down to right below the line we were just looking at and type UE_log. Then we're going to add log temp, which is the default log, which will show up in our output log. Log as the verbosity, meaning that it's just going to be the standard white text in the log. Then the text macro with the string that we want. And I like to use the name of the class, : name of the function to easily identify where this log is coming from. And here I'll say achievement %s found. That %s is going to be replaced by the parameter that we pass in. Add a comma after the closing parenthesis of the text macro and type achievement statuses at index I.achievement name. We need to put an asterisk in the front of this whole thing and also make sure we say .toString at the end because this isn't actually a string, it is ftext, which is slightly different. Once that's ready, go ahead and launch. Now that the editor is back up, open up your output log, play a session, and search for your new logs. You can use the class name to do that, so just type base game instance and you should see it. And you'll see the appropriate names for the achievements displaying here. These are the two achievements that we have, and we can verify this with what's on our profile. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on the achievement system in the fighting game tutorial series. If you did, please subscribe and consider joining the Patreon, YouTube membership, or Discord subscriptions to help support the channel and get some benefits along the way. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who has. Thank you all so much for the love and support. I really appreciate it. If you ran into any problems following this tutorial or any of my tutorials, feel free to join the Discord community. There's a link in the description. I would be happy to help you out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Shawnthebro, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.